Shri Anup Verma ji, Editor, ET Government, Shri Kartik Sharma, Deputy Editor, ET Government, distinguished leaders from public sector undertakings, Sahodri, Sahodrar Mare, that is ladies and gentlemen, Elavarkum Ente Vandanam. I am delighted to speak to the 6th National PSU Residential Summit of the Economic Times, which highlights the vital role played by our public sector undertakings in realizing the vision of developed India, Viksit Bharat. First, my compliments to ET government, a vertical of the Economic Times, for organizing this summit on how modernization and digital empowerment across various sectors would advance the contributions of the public sector to India's economic and industrial growth. Through the summit, the ET government has brought together diverse voices to help shape a digitally empowered and modernized India. That explains the theme of this summit, PSUs driving digital innovation to achieve Viksit Bharat, India at 100. I am told that you propose to discuss here strategies for digitizing various processes, building a digital-ready workforce, energy security, global competitiveness, and other related issues. As we all know, our nation is now on the Amrit Yatra towards greater progress and development. Our Honorable Prime Minister envisions that India should utilize the spirit of Amrit Kal to transform into a fully developed nation and emerge as one of the top 3 global economies at the time when we celebrate the centenary of our independence, that is in 2047. When Shri Anup Verma came to invite me, I was honestly very reluctant because I thought that possibly I'm hardly familiar with digitization, except that I am using a personal computer since 1991. Maybe one of the oldest user of computer in our country. And I thought I would not be able to make any meaningful contribution to the discussion. But Shri Anup Verma insisted that instead of speaking on digitization, I can use the opportunity to speak about the values of the work culture which are inspired by our own cultural tradition. Is that right? Yes. Since most of you are specialists and experts of the digital innovation, and you are actually engaged in digitizing various processes in your undertakings, therefore I shall not try to carry coal to the new castle. Instead, I shall share my views, as I said earlier, about what I feel is essential to do to realize our goal of Viksit Bharat. In this regard, I must say and I am absolutely convinced about it. And before I give you my opinion, I would like to quote Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. He said that India cannot become truly independent unless it is recognized that her foundation is in mind, which with its diverse powers and confidence in those powers goes on all the time creating Swaraj for itself. That is the genius of India. That is the distinctiveness of India. That is how India has been recognized through ages by the world. So I must say that any society can develop or become truly Viksit only on strength of education and the knowledge it has attained and promoted. That explains why our thought leaders, that is Indian rishis and sages, in ancient times insisted on devotion to the pursuit of knowledge. Tapa swadhyay nirittam, ever devoted to the pursuit of knowledge. In a small Upanishadic dialogue, a question was raised, what is tapa? And the answer given was, tapa is, normally we say austerity, ascesis, the discipline which you impose on yourself. But the answer given in the Upanishadic dialogue is, tapa is swa adhyay plus pirvachan. Swa adhyay, again same thing, pursuit of knowledge, acquisition of knowledge. Pirvachan, the process does not become complete by mere acquisition of knowledge. It is completed when the knowledge which you have acquired, you share it with others. Then the process, so they said, Swadhyay plus Pirvachan. Indian civilization and culture was acknowledged as knowledge civilization since remotest times. We suffered subjection and humiliation only when we started neglecting education and knowledge. Swami Ranganathananda, in his well-known book, Eternal Values for a Changing Society, has quoted a line from Srimad Bhagavad, which castigates the scholar who imprisons her or his knowledge within self and does not share it with others. And he has called them as villains of Saraswati. Swamiji, commenting on this, the line is, Saraswati Gyan Khalv Yatha Sati. Commenting on this line, Swamiji said, it was during the period of decline that we started hiding the knowledge from the ordinary people and consequently weakened ourselves. We became weak, we became vulnerable, and therefore we became conquerable. In practical terms, he said, from being worshippers of Saraswati, we became villains of Saraswati. Swami Vivekananda strongly believed that a nation is advanced in proportion as education and intelligence is spread among the masses. Education must embrace the whole society. Education is not concerned of just elite or few sections of the society. And he says that special attention must be given to those who are most in need of it and who, for one reason or another, are unable to avail themselves of the existing facilities. In fact, elsewhere he used very strong words to denounce apathy to educate our common people and said, so long as millions live in hunger and ignorance, I hold every man a traitor, very strong words, a traitor, who having been educated at their expense, pays not the least heed to them. In a small verse, the Rishi of the Upanishad also says, Jan Samanyashu Istrishu Pirsara Dirte Kashchido Payo Nasti. It is not possible for any society to progress, to develop without education, spreading education among the masses, particularly among the women folk. Today, we are living in a world which is full of conflicts and wars, and people are threatening each other with extinction. In a fit of frenzy or anger, something may happen which can endanger the mankind and bring an end to all the progress and advancement we have made so far. If we are threatened today by the weapons that we ourselves have created, it is because our increase in knowledge has not kept company with the growth of wisdom, growth in wisdom. In these times, we have a duty. As Indians, I am saying we have a duty to see what contribution we can make to end these conflicts and build a peaceful world order. We have a spiritual and cultural legacy which obliges us to see the divinity in all beings. Our culture is not defined by variable characteristics like race, color of the skin, faith, tradition, or language. Instead, it is defined by invariable and inalienable characteristic, that is spirit, the Atma, which is the common legacy, common inheritance of all mankind. Our Vedas, the most ancient book according to UNESCO in the world, Rig Veda, they say, is the most ancient book. It declares, Ahem Brahmasmi Tattvamasi. The self is Brahma, and so are you. I and my Father are one. I am Atma Brahma, the soul, the spirit. Atma itself is Brahma. And Prajnanam Brahma. Ultimately, it is the Prajnan, Chetana, consciousness, awareness, which is Brahma. These four statements, which are called Mahavakya, which were given by Adi Shankara to the four mutts which he had established in the country to create awareness about the cultural and spiritual unity, they emphasize a fundamental truth, that is divinity of mankind, which means that man has the capacity to rise beyond the present position, to surpass himself, to fulfill himself. In fact, I strongly believe that the unique contribution of Indian civilization is that it has, I'm not trying to compare with other civilizations, every people have a right to grow as in accordance with their own genius and their distinctiveness, but the distinctiveness of Indian civilization is that it divinized the humanity and it humanized the divinity. When we say with great pride that India even at the zenith of its power, never invaded or committed aggression against any other country or people, then the credit does not go to us. The credit goes to our cultural values, which view all sentient beings, in not just the human beings, even the animals, the birds, the water animals, everybody, on the same footing, and do not allow us to look down upon others and seek dominance over them. Our sages recognized, apparently, we are all diverse. People who are sitting in this hall, their appearances are different. But our sages recognize diversity as the law of nature, and they believe that by accepting and respecting diversity, this diversity itself can become an instrument to strengthen our unity. Therefore, the highest Indian ideal is integration of personality, ekatmata, which reconciles an individual to his or her own self, that is Atma, the society, and the Supreme Spirit. The Bhagavad Gita proclaims, Yada bhuta pirthak bhava mekasthamano pashyati tat evacha vistaram brahma sampadhyate tada. Which means that when one realizes, when one understands that the state of diversity of living beings is rooted in one, and that their manifestation is also that, then one becomes identified with Brahman, which means that when we develop the capacity to see the one in many and many in one, then we are identified with that supreme truth. And even other places. In Taittiriya Upanishad it has been said, and I find it very meaningful. It has been said, so kama yata bahusyam pirjayeti. The words are loaded with meaning. The general concept is, and we use the words, that God is the creator and we are the creation. I have created this mic. This mic is separate from me. But here the Upanishad is saying, so kama yata bahusyam pirjayeti. And when the Spirit, the Supreme Spirit, desired of the old, I would become manifold for the birth of my people. What does that mean? We are not only creation. It is God who has manifolded himself. And we are manifestation of that manifolding of the Supreme Spirit. So when we behold the diversity of beings rooted in the one, we realize through intuitive experience that all that one beholds is nothing but the extension of the self, and that the origin and evolution of all is from that one. If we genuinely train our minds and internalize this great principle of our culture, then it will not be possible for us to transcend the boundaries. And, Bhagwan Ram, we say Maryada Purushottam. Then it will become impossible for us to violate the Maryada, to violate the boundaries. Now, in the light of this cultural background, I will say a few words about what kind of work culture we need to promote. So, when it comes to the performance of our respective duties, worldly duties, the Indian culture asks us to do so as if whatever we are doing in the presence of God, our Ishtadev, with the pure knowledge of meaning of existence. Brahma nishtho girhastha syat tat gyan parayana yad yad karma pirkirvita Tad Brahmani Samarpayit. Whatever work, this is the formula which has been given for the householder, Girhast Ashram. That the way, when you enter the Girhast Ashram, when you become a householder, then this is how you have to perform your duties. Everything that you do, as if you are doing in the presence. God is not only your witness, but here God is not only your witness. What these lines are saying is, Tad Brahmani Samarpayet, the action you are submitting with devotion to the Supreme Spirit. So we can realize that if we have to offer something as part of our devotion, then how much careful we will be in the performance of our duty. This is what transforms our worldly activities into a spiritual experience. And when we work with this awareness, then we shall do what benefit. This is very important, that all the goal, the aim, the purpose of all our actions must be to secure good for everybody. Everybody does not mean that we can do everybody in the sense that the benefits should not remain confined to us, confined to the doer, but the benefits must outreach other people. After independence, we had created the public sector essentially not to earn profits. Already the activities were going, businesses were going. What was the purpose of the public sector? There were many areas where private sector will not venture into. Why? There was very little chance of profit making. Therefore, the basic purpose of the public sector was not only to create the infrastructure, but to start activities which will result in the good of all people. And Bhagavad Gita says, what a beautiful, in fact, I was reading somewhere that when the translation of the Bhagavad Gita by Swami Ranganathananda was published, then he chose this particular shlok. He said he finds this shlok to be the most important shlok of the Gita, and he put it on the front page or on the back page, somewhere there. And it says, Sakta karmani avidvasa yatha kurvanti bharata kuryat vidwan tatha asakta chikirshu loka sangarham. Each one of us, all human beings, we work very hard to achieve our desired goals, to achieve what attracts us, what interests us. We do our best, we put our heart and soul into it. We work very hard. So Lord is telling Arjun that way an ignorant person works very hard, strives to achieve his desired goals. He works very hard. So a knowledgeable person must make the same efforts, same striving, but the knowledgeable person must be inspired by the goal, chikirshu, desiring, loka sangarham, welfare of people, welfare of mankind. So whatever, this is the distinction between an ignorant person and a person who is conscious, who is aware of his or her role as, I would say, as a human being. In this context, it will not be out of place to point out that each one of us has a duty towards society. We have to realize that all our achievements are not merely result of our personal efforts, but people around us also have contributed to our success. When we strive, we work hard. The whole universe conspires to help us, and therefore we also have an obligation to pay back to the society. And again, I would like to refer to a verse from Bhagavad Gita, which I find very powerful, very powerful. Ishtan bhogan hiva deva das yante yagya bhavita te dattan apirdaya ebhya ya bhunkte istena eva sa. Which means that when you strive, you work hard, you make efforts, nature will give you the desired objective. The word for nature here used is deva, that the natural forces will reward you with your desired objective. But if you enjoy, te dattan apidaya ebhya, they will give you. But if you enjoy these blessings without sharing with others, then such a person is only a thief. Very strong word. You have not stolen from somebody. Whatever you earn by dint of your hard labor, Gita is saying that if you enjoy that without sharing with others, then you are no more than a thief. Are we aware that this is what our cultural heritage prescribes and provides? And since people who are assembled here are leaders in their own fields, in their own right, so we must always remember that those who are viewed as successful, they are generally emulated, copied by the ordinary people. Therefore, this consciousness and awareness must always be there, that whatever you will do, other people will try to emulate you. And again in Bhagavad Gita, this is what Lord tells Arjuna. Yadi hi aham na varteyam jatu karmanne tandirta mam vartamanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. He tells Arjuna that I am viewed by the society as a role model. Therefore, if I cease to act, the normal people, common people will also become idle. They will stop working because they imitate me. So whatever the superiors do, and in fact I should not use the word superior, whatever people who are viewed as successful, whatever they do, the common people try to emulate them. If this awareness is there, then we will always be cautious, we will always guard our actions, and we will ensure that we act in a manner which inspires others on the right path. And it is this sense of responsibility that guides the Indian concept of governance and management, and considers the work of public servants as yag, an enterprise undertaken for the welfare of mankind. I hope that this, and I'm confident that this summit will discuss these subjects in detail and formulate its recommendations as to how modernization and digitization could enhance efficiency and contribute to the country's goal of Viksit Bharat by 2047. My best wishes for the success of the summit. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Dhanyavad. Jai Hind.